networking. It is, I don't have to tell you all, because you're businessmen and women, about the power of just referrals, for instance. I started thinking about this after a story was told to me that the owner of Cycle Ranch, and I visited, and he told me that he has an excellent blade man that makes all these courses up and keeps them, where they can have races every weekend. And I happened to have breakfast or lunch with Harry Grove, and I told him about it. And I told him about this really interesting young businessman that owns the Cycle Ranch, and that he has this other business he wants to expand. Just for your information, I get a call from a lady in San Antonio that works for UTSA saying, I just wanted to tell you that I live out in the country near Floresville, and I have a road that is just atrocious up to my house, and I needed a blade person to give me a bid on grading the road. And I asked my people at work, and they said, we don't know a blessed soul, but you might call old Harry Grove over in Floresville. And so she calls, Harry tells her about the owner of the Cycle Ranch, and he gets the business. I mean, that's just the power of referrals and knowing that somebody has these business services available. And that's just one of the reasons we need to talk and communicate. And others, I've got, since I've been here, I've had the Small Business Development Center from UTSA come out and counsel people on starting businesses, expanding them. That's going to be brought up at the Business Alliance as well, because I want to make them aware of free service, no cost. Number 5, everybody cheers about more retail and restaurants. Now, Henrietta and I have talked with a company that is called Retail Strategies, and they want to come in and give a presentation to our board and to the council to see about basically where they're different is that a few years ago the FEDC paid, I'm sure, some outrageous amount of money to have a company come in and do a retail strategy study, and that's all great. A lot of boilerplate, a lot of you're losing this many dollars out of your community for all these different industries, but at the end of the day, there wasn't a specialist that said, my company and we deal with people or companies that do business in towns like Floresville, the size of Floresville, the makeup, and we can deliver restaurants and retail for a fee. And so I hope that we will listen with some intensity about trying to do this, to get a specialist company in here to help us attract retail and restaurants. Office and office warehouse, same thing. Offices, we have no Class A office space available for rent in Floresville. I don't know how this, this $1.89 gas price, if that's going to just exclude everything, but I've had some tire kickers wanting to put in a spec office building, about 8,000 square feet, 2 pods of 4,000. I've had another interested in putting a spec building in with executive suites. If you're not familiar with those, it's like, if you're a one or two-person operation, instead of having to go out and find a secretary and get all the equipment in and copiers and all this, you rent an executive suite, you pay higher rent, but then you have a common meeting room like this, you can reserve, you have all the equipment, they get your mail, they send it off, you know, and that's a nice package for industries that are around here that need a one or two person office. But those people went away. And one of them, I'll tell you, his complaint, right or wrong, was that the length of time it took to develop something in Floresville was atrocious, and his investors went other places. He blamed Phelps. I don't know if, you know, I mean, a lot of people are blaming Phelps for a lot of things, and he kept asking us for more feasibility time. And I think he was milking us to have more time to get investors. But bottom line, we have a reputation that Henrietta and I know about, that we gotta change. We've got to be more developer friendly, and if we don't, then they'll move to a place that is easier to develop in.
And has somebody discussed this with Phelps, the management, the board?
We have not. I have a good relationship with the operations manager, or head of operations at Phelps, and I've just got to sit down and tell him about the rumors. And, you know, one of the things that seemed very, very interesting to me was when I called them, I'd gotten board approval to spend $700 to put in the street, have the street lights installed at the industrial park. They said, fine, bring over a $700 check and we'll get started. I've never, it just took me back that, you know, you have to pay for services before they're rendered. It just seemed strange to me. Of course, I took a check over immediately to try to get this thing going. But, you know, it's not a friendly way to do business, but they may have all kinds of collection issues, I don't know. But anyway, that's just kind of how they operate. Did you have something you wanted to say?
No.
The last page, 14, is attracting industrial and manufacturing development. We all realize that Floresville has got to diversify, and I think trying to bring manufacturing into Floresville, via the training available and working with industrial manufacturing brokers can bring bring manufacturing here to diversify our economy and provide jobs and so forth as it grows. So I plan to use a market directly with those specialized brokers in finding locations.
Have you met with anybody working in out towards the Spotco, the new rail system out there?
I have met with a couple of people. I've also met with Representative Cuellar's late man, and I'm trying to, you know, there are two developments just down the road from us, and I'm trying to figure out how we can get involved since we don't have rail running through here now. But certainly the trucking effort, you know, from bringing in by rail, base and so forth to take down south, our trucking businesses are gonna pick up from moving it from there down south, but that's something I need to explore and just see what services they need that are non-rail or, you know,
Support
supportive.
services,
Support. Yeah, and of course, you know, they're developing the rail parks where they'll have warehouses and all that sort of thing. But I need to find our niche, not being a railroad town. And I guess, I'm sorry I teased you, the last page now, number 8, Henrietta and I and the city development director have got to work together to identify some suitable, affordable land for affordable housing. You know, the dilemma is that people are very, very proud of their property, and their asking prices don't support the building and investing in low income or affordable housing. It's like a, you know, it's like an oxymoron. And so we've got to find something available that somebody, if FABCers can put an option on or tie up the property, and we can put in water and wastewater and sewer infrastructure and go market that to a developer. Right now, the big hurdle is gonna be trying to find that land that is available, that would support affordable housing.
what is affordable housing?
Well,
Price range?
Henrietta?
$120,000 according to HUD is affordable housing. Low-income housing is between 75 and 80, but affordable housing runs in about $120,000.
And I've been on conversations with the city, with several developers, and I don't know, something always happens. You know, basically, the last one that I know of was, you know, the city was leaning toward this development plan with lots this size, building a house on, and then the guy gets greedy, he comes back and he wants smaller lots, you know, and everything blows up. So it's, we need it very badly, but it's gonna be a tough project. And then last is basically getting this surplus property for no charge office rent finished. I mean, we've been kicking this around for, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months, and we need to get it done. But, you know, it's very complicated, finding the deeds, matching them up, getting title insurance, you know, all of that stuff. You just can't say, here, you take it, but we've got to have the legal process to go on. Once that's done, they can have 4 park-like sites, the beer warehouse, the depot, and we'll have free rent for a good while.
Yeah, and we need to do it as legal as possible, the transaction, because even though we share the same auditor, she needs to take that value off your books and to the city, so it does have a value, and the city adds it to their books as well. So it's nice that we have the same auditor, but not the same attorney, but we could be able to transfer that appropriately.
Where are the 4 parkland sites?
One of them is actually in Windsor, is it Windsor? What's the subdivision that Mary just moved in?
Jay, you want the McKenzie one on Blueprint one?
Yep.
On the left
That's
of the
McKenzie,
cemetery, right
Northwest.
against.
I think it's
Northwest,
Northwest.
that's what I want to say.
Before you
Northwest is
go to the-
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Back behind it, the McKenzie land.
Yeah, then the other one is, of course, the skate park, which is still on your books, that's completed. One that's going to be developable, you have the one that's over there by, from Walmart, by McCoy's. That's a property that's in EDC's name, that this hasn't been transferred in. The council did express that, I think in your budget, you added $15,000 to do park improvements, which I know is one of the directives that the council is going to be leaning towards. And so we're trying to come up with a park plan that we can bring back to EDC and other commissions to talk about how we want to address the park plan. The plan could be adding new parks or making improvements to existing parks. So that's one of the things that I'm working with with the Park Foundation as a park plan that they will approve, and I'll take to the council for their approval as well.
And it's very encouraging to me to know that they want, that all the parties that be want to have a professional plan before they get started. Too many times, I think, in the past, it just said, well, my kids or my grandkids play soccer over here, and you know, it needs fill, it needs this, it needs that, and there's not a, you know, it's not a cohesive plan, says we're gonna do this, that, and the other, and so the public really doesn't get to know that you start here and you go here. They just see certain projects and then say it's favoritism and so forth, but that's all of my.
The only thing that as a provider of healthcare in this area, there is a sorry lack of transportation for people, for elderly people to get to San Antonio for their appointments. There is a dramatic lack. I have people come to my office every week. Can you help me? Do you know who goes to San Antonio? And you can sign up for this ACOG thing, but you have to sign up ahead of time. And sometimes they don't know how quickly their appointments are gonna be needed. And it's a real need for transportation. And that could be done by an individual. It doesn't have to be public transportation, but it needs to be something that people can rely on.
Well, and I talked at one point about on the two acres in the house, we have an industrial park, of maybe making that the campus for the training center, and somebody's told me that, you know, you're gonna have a big problem with trying to get people out there that don't have transportation. If you make it in Floresville, you know, they can walk, but if you got it, you know, 3 miles out of town, you know, they're not gonna come.
And I'll tell you something else, it's a huge safety issue. People walking up and down 181 to get to Walmart or someplace else is built up down there. There is no transportation if you don't have it, you walk it. Jed Malloy, he is going to be roadkill one of these days. I hate to say it, but it's just, oh.
And as we look at the city comprehensive plan to make Floresville a walkable community is something that we're having. We have the same challenges as we're talking about doing more programs for the community at our community park. It's a transportation, it's a 10-mile hike out there where the kids are trying to get to school. So we're hoping that we can do all of our new subdivisions. So Riverbend, when we present it to them, they're gonna be a walkable community, and as this comes forward, we're trying to be a walkable community. So we're trying to have a more walkable community, because it is. I mean, even, Crest, I just said it. North Crest is a new subdivision, but there's no sidewalks there.
Well, if y'all remember, Mary Good and her son, I believe it was, were killed on their highway on 181 several years ago. And that was their mode of transportation. She was in a wheelchair and her son pushed her up and down that highway. And I think they drove to them coming out of, yeah.
Well, there was a bicyclist or out walking just the other day.
Yes, yes.
So
While he's on break, we want to take a couple minutes and then we'll come right back.
Yeah, sure can.
Could I make a comment on the presentation here before we take a break? I need a break too. And I don't know how to say this to be constructive, because that's the way I want to be. That's a very comprehensive, very looking at every aspect of what we need to do briefing. Tommy, I appreciate the time that you put into it. But it seems to me that there needs to be a little more publicity on what's already done, you know, the accomplishments. You indicated some, they're just in passing on the industrial park, and you mentioned an investment of $5 million and a return of what, 200 and whatever jobs. But we've had better than that, Tommy. How do we get that out, for example? And we had several of this, and we can go by into detail on a bunch of these over the years. We've been in economic development not me, but Floresville since what, early 2000, like a little before then. Success stories, for example, Walmart. You know, we had a Walmart here that had 66 employees. For 6 years, we went out to try to get that super Walmart that has anywhere from 275 to 300 employees, including the part-timers. And then collateral type of businesses coming in, major. Here we have not only primary jobs coming in, we also have an enhancement of the tax base, and on and on and on. And you can find a multitude of these, and I'm exaggerating to make a point. Stories like that, you know, HEB, look at HEB, and that's been in place for a long time. Some 225, 250 employees in the end, including part-time. But then look at the strip mall they've got there that came in because of them, and on and on. So,
Well, I think, Fred, I heard Tommy say at the beginning that part of his goal was to make sure that that very thing got to happen.
well,
And
yes.
we mentioned that in his evaluation too, this last time.
No, I understand that, but my point in all of that is, if I was here for the first time, didn't have any history, I would think we're just starting out with economic development. It's a growing process, and you're making it better, and I think that has to be, you know, pointed out. And the history of it shouldn't die, you know. There's a whole, the early college center, I mean, who can put a value on that?
Yeah.
You know, the veteran home, one of 6 in Texas, 166 beds, you know. I mean, big things. We've had a lot of things happening here for years. I'm not taking credit because I wasn't here. But my point is, I think we need to make this presentation a little broader than, it almost seems like we're starting, you know, economic development this year, a couple of years ago.
Just to look back in history, I mean,
Well,
basically.
I think when Tommy showed this to me, originally it was to bring you all up to date
No, I
in
understand.
detail
I
about
understand.
what we had done, so
Okay.
that you kind of had a basis for
And I can,
where we are.
some of us are not
But
in Congress,
I-
don't realize.
I totally agree with you, and I, you know, I've got to sit down, I guess, with the paper and see how we can do this. You know, there's just so many articles that they'll do, and then we get into,
For a while, they weren't doing anything.
Lots of money.
And that was a problem. Maybe we brought it on ourselves, I don't know. But they weren't helping us at all.
but, you know, I need to find some other avenues. And I look to you all, if you know something, I mean, I've had people that were critical of the paper, and so it's like, well, what if you don't read the darn paper? How are you gonna find out anything?
And then put it on the website, and basically,
Yeah.
you know, those things can be there when you do the article in the paper, reference the website, and look back in economic development history for Floresville, you can go back and see all the projects.
And develop a trail, you know, where you see this becoming even better and better. Another, and a fine, I mean, a small thing here, but skateboard park literally took kids off the street. You might recall, they were skating all over the place here, you know, in front of the bank,
So
on the
just take
sidewalk.
care of it, that would be enough.
That was a problem, you
That's-
know.
oh.
Who fell down on the job there, I don't know.
Yeah.
And we need to do a better job on
Well,
that.
then, one of the skate parks, we are applying for a grant to upgrade the existing,
Absolutely.
and the bathrooms are an issue, because we need to put more of a stainless steel type of thing in the bathroom, because the bathrooms there, they function, but they have porcelain things and they're hanging on the wall. So we're hoping that we can do a more collaborative effort. And I tell Tommy all the time, I can tell the story of Floresville a whole lot better once I know the story. And only being here 1 year, we don't know the story. But one of the things we want to do with, his name is Chip, so Retailer Strategies, is that they help us put it together, because those bragging rights of economic development of the Whataburger, the Bill Miller, the 24-hour Walmarts, that we have avails and that we have Cato, are all things that we can help as we go out to sell. Now, Tommy mentioned this company called Retail Coach, which we have great, it's great program. I'm not saying it's not great, but all they do is say, here's what you should do. He's a one-man show, and so what we're hoping to do is to
I
get
need
this
to go
company.
back before we go and do the next stuff. But anyway, as everybody knows, I like to write letters. I can help write if you need any help.
I will take you up on that.
Okay, let me just run over here. Excuse me.
Let's take a 2-minute break, and let's do that, and then, you wanna make an announcement on that, or?
What's behind us, we're gonna have to replace this little guy. I don't think we get parts
And I
anymore.
we don't have a spare, we have wire, ours is built in, so I'm sorry.
I think you could probably pick one up at Walmart.
Yeah, for $39. This wouldn't make a good fishing weight.
Well, and Monica told me she was gonna get an upgraded digital,
Yes,
and
that's
I
what
could
they
use,
on that one.
I could use hers.
Trying to do that. So what you gonna put on the other one? I think we're already done.
I'm sorry, I should have known.
We're saying no, huh?
It's a one-time thing,
It's
you
not
know.
bad, there's not a national game today.
I don't want to be a lot of you coming up, helping with this going.
What is Cowboys? I
Oh,
don't
it
wanted to pull my
Workshop
workshop.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
So,
that's when you say, let's take the ball and run with it, I was gonna
Yeah.
tell you, as long as there's not a referee.
What was the deal on that?
Yeah, no,
I still don't get it. I mean, it seemed to me he had control of the ball.
What it is,
They
let me
were
tell
When he
you
hit the
something.
What they
ground.
want to do with the forest?
There's
What
just
they
too
wanna
much
do?
money
What's
involved.
the
A lot of
rationale?
people don't believe it, but Vegas
Or
controls
whatever,
it.
so I listened to something.
So what it is,
Jeez,
when they make a
no,
phone call,
Discuss
you know,
whether they
I believe
put
this,
something in front of you, okay,
they should get rid of all this review, whatever the ref sees right there, that's
We're
it.
hoping that we can start having.
You know, because, I mean, obviously he caught the ball.
Congratulations on
Yes,
being
we-
a tourist in
He took
business.
his steps, I mean, that was another way to end the season.
I
Oh,
was
man.
excited. I didn't
But
know
I
how
thought it was-
excited
I
I was
don't know.
until.
And
they said he
Yeah,
didn't
so,
stretch
you were
or
so
something?
excited.
They say he didn't make
Like,
a
what's
move
that? Like, this is
with
something
it,
we're
and he
working
made
on.
three
Oh,
moves.
hell,
And it feels good too.
The
Yeah,
replay over and over showed that.
and you know, I don't even see the ball hitting
No.
the ground.
It bounced, he,
Yeah, but he had his hand underneath it.
yes, and then it, and he
It should have
caught it.
been a
when it-
touchdown, it should have been a touchdown or the ball at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
That was either one of
That's
those.
the part I didn't understand. The ball never hit the ground.
We got money.
Didn't appear to.
And then, next thing you know, they don't even have the ball anymore.
Mama Skeeter is killing me.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's,
Yeah, no, the thing about it is that there's too much money involved in it, you know, but, I mean, that's ridiculous. And you couldn't say, well, Detroit last week, you know.
Oh, yeah, and did you see what
Yeah,
they
everybody's saying
tweeted
that.
out? Now you
Yeah,
know.
Detroit, yeah, the Detroit, you know, they don't know.
What's this big college game we got going on? I don't follow football, but all they talk about this.
Now it's
This
good.
is a
It's
World
supposed to be bigger
Series
than the
of
Super
college
Bowl.
football.
Yeah, that's all they can talk
Tuesday
about.
night.
who's playing
Is it all-
Oregon and Ohio State.
Ohio.
Sorry?
Arlington,
Oh,
Texas,
we're
is
missing
that where
a
it's
good
at?
game.
They're playing
Oh,
at,
yeah.
at the Cowboys State.
Oh, is that the
Find out what's the
Cowboys
score.
game now?
Yeah.
Is it really? That was
Chris,
a
what's
game.
all about this
Wow,
thing?
I
Yeah,
heard
Two
Relate to
finalists,
it.
this is it.
somebody with the Ducks, I saw that in
Oregon,
Ohio.
Oregon and Ohio State.
Ohio State's winning by 7.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
That's good. I hope so.
I've lived all my life here, you know. I've worked with the planning and zoning, you know, I'm in construction. You know, I got involved with the city, you know, just now getting more into the politics, but the thing about it is I've seen the bombings and I've seen, all these little stores and then, you know, and I've seen it grow.
Yeah.
But you're right, everything's coming back more to, see, everybody wants a big house, big this, that's your dream, now everybody wants a little house. Everybody wants a big car, now they want a bike, and you know what I mean, it's coming backwards, you know.
Yeah.
well, everything else repeats
It's
itself.
just the houses, but.
All right, let's speed this thing up, Ray.
Yeah.
So we don't, we got one long.
Let's do it.
Well, Tommy, you wore us out, but good job.
I appreciate it, Tommy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, this,
It was
this won't
worthwhile.
happen again. We'll just have straight agenda.
Okay.
One-time deal.
And new business. We just finished up with Congress. Next is number 6, discussion and action, election for FEDC officers. And I guess we can start with nominations for the office of president.
I nominate, Ray Lambert for president.
I'll second that.
Are there any other nominations? Do I have a nomination to cease nominations? Or a motion to cease nominations?
Yes.
For Mary Ellen, motion to cease nominations.
Okay, so she moved, is there, do you have to second? to cease
It's a
nominations?
motion.
Yeah,
Is
I
it
second that.
So
Well,
it's been moved and seconded by
I'll
Jason
put my name in it, I'll say.
to cease nominations. Or Chris, or Jason and Chris.
So now we vote on it, right?
All those in favor of Ray Lambert for president?
no,
No.
to cease nominations.
I just did that.
No, no, but
No,
you have to
no,
vote on
You have to
that.
vote on it. And if
All right, then we need to vote to cease nominations?
Yes, yes.
Right,
Okay.
which means the same
All those in
thing.
favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? None. Passes 6-0.
So you're it.
Now,
Now, now we'll go to election.
well,
So all those in favor of Ray Lambert for president, say aye.
No, you're already in. They ceased nomination.
Okay, all opposed? Passes 6-0.
All right.
Moving along, do we have nominations open for vice president?
I nominate Mary Helen.
Jason Tyler nominates Mary Helen Teakin. Do I have a second?
One second.
Seconded by Chris. Do you have a motion to cease nominations?
Make a motion to cease nomination.
Do we have a motion by Andy to cease nominations? Do we have a second?
Second.
Jay seconds it. Now we'll vote on ceasing nominations. All those in favor of ceasing nominations for the office of vice president, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
5-1.
Is it five?
Yes.
Okay.
5-1.
By one.
Okay. We nominations for the office of treasurer.
Well, that's pretty obvious.
I would like to nominate
We
Jason
don't know
Kelly
that.
for treasurer.
We have a nomination by Mary Ellen for Jason Talley,
I'll second the motion.
seconded by Fred. Do I have a motion to cease nominations?
I think one more thing, you just need to see if there's any other
Are
nominations.
there any other nominations? Okay. Do we have a motion to cease nominations?
I so moved.
So moved by Fred. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded. We'll now vote on that. All those in favor of ceasing nominations for the office of treasurer, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes 6-0. Do we have any nominations for the office of secretary?
Did we vote on
Wait,
him?
wait, wait.
We did.
No,
We
we
didn't
voted
vote.
to cease.
Oh, I'm sorry. Get this one. Okay. We now take a vote for Jason Talley as treasurer. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
I think Jason has it. Now, we can open nominations for the office of secretary.
I would like to nominate Andy Johnson.
Mary Helen nominates Andy Johnson. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
I'm gonna have to decline. I appreciate that. I wanna devote my time as a board member and get on board before I can take on any officer role.
And in respect to declines, do we have any other nominations for the office of secretary?
Mr. Pullen, I nominate Mr. Pullen.
We have a nomination by Fred for Mr. J. Pullen. Do we have a second?
I second.
Seconded by Chris. Do we have any other nominations? Do we have anybody vote for cease nominations? Any motions?
I move that we cease nominations.
Second that.
It's been moved and moved by Jason, seconded by Fred to cease nominations. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
5-0. Now we will have a vote. All those in favor of Mr. J. Pullen as secretary, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Abstain.
5-0. Mr. Pullen, you are the winner.
Somebody gonna train me?
Right to your right.
You're untrainable.
Well, I know that.
Okay, moving along. To item number 7. Discussion item, several select dates and times for a joint meeting with city council for a presentation by Retail Strategies of their locator services to actually bring retail/restaurants to Floresville.
have you heard from Tony?
He, said that he was just gonna send me some dates and he wants to know what's available, so we'll know, several dates in February for him to come and present, and then we're gonna let the city council know as well, so we can have a joint. But you met before the city council, I'm meeting with the city council on Wednesday. So if you come up with some dates, we'll email him tomorrow and see how they're looking for him, because I think he's coming out of Boston. They travel here, and they'll make a special presentation to come. I think you're gonna be really impressed. They are a company that will go to Vegas when they have the shopping, the conference that they have, famous, the one they have all over the United States. And then there's also a smaller one in Dallas. And the key is he's going to say, rather than say, oh, we want to go get an Applebee's or go get a IHOP or go get a Denny's, I'm saying, tell me what'll come here, and then that's who we're going to court. I mean, I don't think people care if it's an Applebee's or if it's a Red Robin. They just want the restaurant to have a sit-down restaurant, not a bag carry-out. If it's an IHOP or if it's Denny's, they want to have that breakfast facility here. And so what we're hoping to do is the ones that will come in our area to come and to market us and to be able to do that. That's what they bring to the table, which is one step above the retail.
So at this point, we don't know a date.
We want you all to tell me dates are good. Dates in February are good, or you want to wait till March? Tell me, and so we can give them some direction of what.
Are you trying to coordinate this with the council?
With the council, yes.
Yes, so we want to know if it's better for you all to be meeting in, if you want to do it in February, then we'll set those dates in
I'd say the
February.
sooner the better.
Sooner the better, yeah.
Okay, so are you all, mean to, you stay away from Thursdays, because that's Monday. Do you want to try to do it on a Monday, or you want to do it on a Wednesdays? I mean, I just need
We're
to have,
talking during the day, during the evening?
oh, evening meeting, because my
Evening.
council needs to come as well, so it's definitely an evening meeting.
Wednesdays are church night for a lot of people, so Wednesdays wouldn't be a good time, but I would think,
But Fridays, come on, nobody's gonna do Fridays. So you're looking at like a Monday, Tuesday,
Hi, Tuesday.
Tuesday would
Tuesday,
be.
a Tuesday, okay, so
See if
Tuesday,
you can set up something, I guess, in February for Tuesday. That's all.
Sure.
yes, in February, great, on a Tuesday,
So bring it at the same time, about 6:30,
yes.
that work for everybody? Good.
Great, great, thank you.
Any other days to discuss? Okay, item number 8, discussion and possible action item. New Haven Assisted Living in Memory Care request a second 90-day feasibility period under their purchase contract for 4.3 acres Veterans Business Park. See that dated January 5th.
do we want to entertain a motion to go into executive session?
If we'll have to entertain a motion to go into executive session if we will so discuss this.
Yes. I move that we go into executive session.
I'll second that.
Made by Jason, seconded by Fred, we will go into executive session.
You got to vote.
No, no, no.
Okay.
Raise